When we look to the Quran, giving us verses about the month of Ramadan, one of the verses that comes out immediately is the verse 183 in chapter 2. In fact, there is a series of verses there, and then within this chapter 2, and it begins from verse 183 to 187. It's a series of verses. Today I'd like to go through them and like I said, do some tafsir, Quran commentary on it, and inshallah help us to understand Ramadan a lot better and the significance of Ramadan. Beginning with verse 183, which states, "O you who believe, fasting is prescribed to you as it was prescribed to those before you, so that you may guard yourselves against evil." Now, Tafsir al-Mizan, or one of the well-known and notable Quranic commentaries within Shia Islam, al-Mizan, it says that the Arabic word tatakun, which renders in English the word guard, that this word guard comes from the same root word as taqwa. And of course, taqwa means piety. So in other words, the act of self-restraint by fasting is an act of piety, as it restrains or guards from the indulgences of food, drink, and sex, as well as any forbidden speech, illicit thoughts, and actions that render the fast null and void. So one of the significance of fasting in Ramadan is the guarding of the self from evil. In chapter 2, verse 183, the very next verse, the Quran states, "Fasting for a fixed number of days, but if any of you is ill or on a journey, the prescribed number should be made up from days later. For those who can do it with hardship is a ransom, the feeding of one that is indigent. But he that will give more of his free will, it is better for him, and it is better for you that ye fast if you only knew." So another significance of Ramadan is that it carries immense blessings and rewards, such that if we only knew, we would not miss the opportunity to fast. For a fixed number of days means for 1 month. Usually it's either between 29 to 30 days. And the fast is only permitted for those who are not traveling, who are sick, or too old to fast. And should this be the case, the person can make up the missed fast by doing so at a later date or feed 60 poor persons. However, as this verse indicates, fasting is more preferred than compensation, as it has greater value and rewards in the sight of Allah. The very next verse says, "Ramadan is the month in which was sent down the Quran as a guide to mankind. Also clear signs for guidance and judgment between right and wrong. So every one of you, every Muslim, who is present at his home during that month should spend it in fasting. He wants you to complete the prescribed period and to glorify him in that he has guided you, and perchance ye shall be grateful." This verse highlights that Ramadan is considered a blessed month because it marks a special spiritual and historical period in the development of the Muslim community and humanity. During this time, Allah provided clear instruction and guidance on what constitutes right and wrong, both morally and spiritually. The Quran serves as a foundation for evaluating human actions and behavior from both a materialistic and metaphysical point of view. Now, in addition to this, the verse says, and to glorify him in that he has guided you, right? And perchance you may be grateful. So here is a month in which the fasting is an opportunity for us to show our gratitude to Allah and His Messenger for having revealed the Quran and His revelation and His guidance to mankind. And as a result, we have become Muslims turning towards Allah in true guidance. In the next verse, it says, and when my servants ask you concerning me, then surely I am very near. I answer the prayer of the supplicant when he calls on me. So they should answer my call and believe in me, that they may walk in the right way. This verse is a very important verse, because this verse really reflects the cosmic covenant that all human beings made with God, or God made with us. And in this covenant, there are certain things that should we respect in the covenant, like if human beings remain on the right path, the path that God has revealed, that they do not associate anything with Him, anything or anyone with the divine Godhead, and that they obey His prophet, and that they reject or keep away from the shaitan, right? They do not follow him. That is essential, the covenant that God has made with human beings. And should we respect this covenant and do these following things, God will in turn turn to humanity in mercy and would answer our prayers. Okay? And so this verse is reminding us of this covenant, this cosmic covenant. And also the importance of prayer, because in the Quran, God says that had it not been for our prayers, He would not care for us, right? So any relationship that we are in with God, any relationship that's a loving relationship, that's a receptive relationship, prayer is always at the focal point. So when Ramadan comes in, Ramadan is a time where this aspect of a relationship with God is re-emphasized, certainly within our practice of worship within the month of Ramadan. Now, in chapter 2, in the following verse, 187, the Quran says, permitted to you on the night of the fast is the approach of your wives. They are your garments, and ye are their garments. Allah knoweth what ye used to do secretly among yourselves. But He turned to you and forgave you, so now associate with them and seek what Allah hath ordained for you, and eat and drink until the white thread of the dawn appear to you, distinct from its black thread. Then complete your fast till the night appears, but do not associate with your wives while you are in retreat in the mosque, or while you are in itikaf. Those are limits set by Allah. Approach not nigh thereto. Thus doeth Allah make clear His signs to men, that they may learn restraint. Now, this verse permits Muslims to take part in being intimate with their wives during the nights of Ramadan, where According to Al-Mizan, which is a Quranic commentary, it says that previously this was forbidden. Any intimacy with the wives were forbidden, though not adhered to strictly by Muslims in the past. It also gives clear instructions as to when the fast begins and ends, and mentions the period of ittikaf. Now, ittikaf is a sunnah or a practice of the Prophet and his family of retreating to the mosque for seclusion of worship and recitation of the Quran for the last 10 days of Ramadan. During this time, those doing ittikaf at the mosque are instructed not to approach their wives or have any interaction with any women whatsoever, as might otherwise be permitted while at home. Thus, Ramadan is a special time for supplication, spiritual purification, and worship for the Muslim community. In chapter 97, verse 1, the Quran says, "Indeed, we sent the Quran down during the night of decree." And what will explain to thee what the night of power is, or the night of decree? The night of power is better than 1,000 months. The angels and the Spirit descend therein by the permission of their Lord, with all decrees. Peace it is until the rising of dawn. Now, the Quranic commentary from Al-Mizan says that the night of decree refers to the Arabic word qadir, or predestination. It means the night in which God decrees the events for the coming or following year, such things as births, deaths, sustenance, felicity, and poverty. The term the Spirit is typically understood to mean the angel Gabriel, angel of revelation. During the night of power, or the night of decree, or the night of destiny, the angels, along with the Spirit, angel Gabriel, descend with the command of God and execute it without fail. These divine decrees are predestined to happen without fail. Interestingly, the night is cloaked in immense peace and blessedness, underscoring God's kind and gentle nature in dealing with human affairs, one of peace and grace and not enmity and vengefulness. The night of power is thus a positive spiritual time for humans in general and of Muslims in particular. Its spiritual greatness is better than 1,000 months, and the worship and good deeds performed during this night are so greatly rewarded that their immense blessings exceed their normal rewards in other months by thousands of years. So when is the night of power? We have a hadith from Imam Husayn al-Islam, one of the successors of the Prophet. He says, he was asked about the night of destiny, or the night of power, and he said, say that again. So when is the night of power, or when is the night of destiny? We have a hadith from one of the successors of the Prophet Muhammad, his grandson, Imam Husayn, and he said, when he was asked what night this was, he replied, "You should try to find it in the 21st or the 23rd night of the month of Ramadan." We also have another hadith from him in which he says that in the night of power, the list of people for Hajj, or the pilgrimage to Mecca, is prepared during the night of destiny. So also are debts, trials, sustenance, and things that have to happen until the next night of destiny. You should try to pray for the realization of your wishes during the 21st or 23rd nights. You should perform 100 rakats, or prayers, or salat, during each of these nights, and remain awake if you can, up to daylight. That the doors of the sky remain open during the month of Ramadan, shaitans are nailed down, and the deeds of believing people are accepted. Now, why is the night of power better than 1,000 months? We also have another hadith from Imam Husayn in which he says, it is because doing good deeds during this night is better than doing good deeds in 1,000 months that do not have the night of power. Now, good deeds could be prayer, supplication, the reading of the Quran, charity, helping others, anything that would normally be considered generally good is amplified in terms of its rewards in this night. Now we have a hadith from the Prophet Muhammad himself, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him and his family, in which he says that during the month of Ramadan, my community has been granted 5 things in the month of Ramadan, which have not been granted to the followers of any previous prophets. He says that firstly, Allah will take a look at my community on the first night of the month of Ramadan, and he will never torture those upon whom he looks. Secondly, the smell of the mouth of those who fast is better than the smell of musk to Allah. Thirdly, the angels pray and ask for their forgiveness day and night. So the angels pray for the believers day and night who fast in the month of Ramadan. Fourthly, God orders paradise to ask for forgiveness from Muhammad's community and to adorn itself for God's servants, so that the hurt and harm of the world is removed from them once they see it. The 5th thing is that they will all be forgiven on the last day of the month of Ramadan. The messenger, of course, was then asked, "O Messenger of Allah, how about the night of power, or Laylatul Qadr, as it is expressed in Arabic?" He replied, "Have you not seen that workers in labor are paid off when they finish their work?" In other words, the messenger is saying that for those of us who are Muslims and are fasting in the month of Ramadan and are doing what is expected of us in terms of the fast, in terms of seeking God's forgiveness, supplicating God, entreating him, doing extra prayers during the days and nights, the recitation of the Quran, all these things will be met with acceptance. Now, there is a tradition that say that for a person who goes through Ramadan and their prayers are not accepted, then the Messenger of Allah said that then this person is truly in a wretched spiritual state. And the only way to remedy this situation that they may be in is that they have to go to the Kaaba. They have to do pilgrimage to the Kaaba in order to reinstate or to remove whatever issues may be causing their prayers and their fast from being accepted. In conclusion, the verses from Surah Al-Baqarah, which is the 2nd chapter of the Quran, emphasize the multifaceted significance of Ramadan and fasting. Fasting serves as an act of piety, a means of self-restraint, guarding believers against evil. The prescribed period of fasting during the month of Ramadan is a symbol of spiritual purification and a time to seek Allah's guidance. The revelation of the Quran during this month marks a pivotal moment in the history of Islam and humanity, providing clear guidance on distinguishing right from wrong. Additionally, the night of power, better than 1,000 months, is a time of divine decrees, peace, and immense blessings. The hadiths shed light on the special blessings and privileges bestowed upon the Muslim community during Ramadan, including God's forgiveness, the pleasant fragrance of fasting individuals, and the unique virtues of the night of power. These teachings encourage believers to engage in acts of worship, supplication, and seeking forgiveness during the nights of Ramadan. Ultimately, Ramadan emerges as a sacred period for spiritual growth, reflection, and a deepened connection with Allah. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum.